Hey, so I wanted to take you through my process and how I use the samples that I've just released under Solex Records in the Romy Black Jack Pack. A lot of my stuff's quite stripped back, you know, not too many sounds, a bit of space, and then just using those like as dynamically as possible. So what I've done is from the pack, I've loaded up 14 sounds here. You can hear them. So this is my percussion. These are kind of like accents from the percussion. Here's some of the samples. So this is what I call an underloop. It's normally something I tuck underneath the groove. It's not too apparent, but there's sounds in here that you can use. So if you hear that, that's snare is actually from that loop. So getting in there and chopping stuff up. So the sample pack only, I think, has like 11 single sounds and maybe like 13 loops. So it's quite like a mini pack. But each one of those has been processed. I've got a couple of really good analog compressors. The DBX 160A. I've also got an electron heat. So I've added quite a bit of saturation and stuff, give them a bit more punch. So let's go in here and I'll show you how I use that exact pack just to write it, look kind of what I would call a hot groove, and that's before I basically restructure it. So I'm going to start with the kick. So this, I normally write my beats in one phrase. This is 4 loops. This is a DJS 1000 by Pioneer. It's a pretty solid sampler. Some people, you can use the same thing in Ableton, you can use Machine, whatever it is you like to use. But this is one of my go-tos, mainly just because of the swing, and just I like to be able to play my stuff. So let's get this cracking. Just if you wanted to know, it's on 123 BPM, which is what the jack pack is put into. All the loops are 123, and it's all in key too, so it's all in A minor. I've got 44% swing on that, so it's pretty heavy, but this unit kind of, it's not like a 50% swing in Ableton or something like that, like with RAM to 100. Sorry, like an MPC, like funky 16, 50 isn't that heavy, but so this is 100 swing at 44%. Okay. So simple 4 to the floor. And one of the things people ask me is with my beats how I get it so jacky. So one of the things I do like to do, and you probably won't be able to zoom right in, if I do that you can, is this is the sample. So by shortening it, you start to get a bit more of a jacky feel. Now, together with some skips. Let's put it here and maybe here. Pretty solid. So this is this conga loop that's going on. So let's put it down behind and see how it sounds. I know it fits because it's part of the original song and in the pack. So one of the things I do like to do, though, I'll just give you a bit of insight, is I have on here a ducker, which effectively is a sidechain compressor. And it's attached to the kick. So what it's doing, obviously, is every time the kick plays, it's pushing it down. Now, I use that a lot in my percussion, get that kick and bass really driving. And kind of separated, so even on things like percussion, 16s and hi-hats, and if we were going to use a ride, that one, I would definitely use it on that if I was to have that in like a second phrase. All right, so let's see what we got. Now, one of the, the main loops, I guess, in the pack is this bad boy. So what I like to do is slice it up, especially when we're running so much swing, getting smaller samples and getting them swinging in there with all the notes is kind of important to me. So this unit has a slice feature and it also has a scale feature. So a slice feature is just like your slicer or your simpler in Ableton, so it slices everything up. Okay, so if I go back, select the waveform, you can see all the slices. From the original track. The other thing it's got is, you know, if you loaded a single sample into Simpler without slicing it, you would be able to scale up the keys. So it works the same. I don't use that feature a lot. I do use it, but let's get a bit of a groove happening. Now, the advantage of this pack, obviously, being everything's in key. Now, just like with the percussion, we're also going to we're also going to use some side chaining. It's important to get everything out of the way. One of the things when I'm using samples is you have to be careful with percussion as well. Like, you can hear that's got a crash on it. Sorry, that one has a crash on it. So you can't use that all the time because there's going to be a crash through your whole loop. You can use it on the first. And when we move this into phrases, I'll probably use something like that there. That's pretty hot. Lowering that sample a little bit because it's a bit hot in the mix. Yeah. So here we've already got like a kind of a groove going. There's not too many samples going on. You know, dance music doesn't have to be overcomplicated with heaps and heaps of layers. You can see here I've got 14 samples, and by the end of this we'll have like a solid groove that I can actually take away from instead of just keep on layering. Yeah, you could probably add like a vocal in there, like a stab or something else, and then when we move into second phrases you could, you know, maybe have a bit of hi-hat going. If we were to have something like that. Put a ducker on it. I'm using track 1, which is the kick, to activate that. So we're going to move that all the way to the start. Put on about 50%. Don't want it to be too obvious. And then curve. That's pretty hot in the mix as well. You back that off. We're not going to use that right now. So this feature, or this unit also has the ability to mute things, which is how I kind of work out my eventual arrangement. I can mute that. All right, so we're grooving. Now the one thing that's missing is obviously that lower spectrum, bass. So, scale. We know it's in A. I'm pretty sure I could do something like this, and it's going to be overly straight, but it's going to work. Alright, let's play around a little bit. The reason I do use this unit over something like Ableton, I do finish all my music in Ableton or a DAW. I used to use Logic. Is I actually like playing things in. Now this unit isn't overly quantized. If I'm punching it in the sequencer, obviously it is. But if I'm just playing it here, then I can kind of get a bit more groove going. So let's play with that. Nice basic groove going on there. What else we got here? So, again, just putting a ducker on it, sidechain compression for the kick, keeps everything pumping, and it also sticks it all together. Yeah. Cool. Right, so let's meet that. Now, something that's bothering me a little bit is the, let's play with this a little bit. Come up with some better slices, I reckon. Let's play it in. Now I'm actually going to reduce the volume on just this hit because that trumpet, it does seem to be a little bit loud. Nice, nice. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to spread it out across this phrase and then I guess kind of make it into a little bit more of a jacking tune. So a lot of jacking tunes have what's called a 4-bar return. So on the 4th bar, there's normally something a little bit different that comes back to the first bar. So it's just creating difference every 16. You can only make a bit of a change, but it gives it that repetitive sort of jack vibe. So all I'm going to do is on this unit, spread it across those 4. So it should be loaded on all those 4. Let's have a listen. Right, so going back to the first phrase, get into here. This is our kick. So everyone, I'm sure you've noticed, I have a triple kick. It's normally around the 32. Let's have a listen. we're creating some changes now. We're actually going to put a crash at the start of this, but we're going to turn it right down and make it a little bit shorter. See what happens. Sounds like it long today. I'm going to turn that right down so it's still there but in the background. Now when we get to the last phrase, this is where the changes are going to happen. So it can, might be a drum roll, it might be a little something something. So we've got this hat, the snare, sorry. We haven't really used it actually. Let's have a listen. Put one there. Now the other thing we're going to do is we're going to change the slices up here. So let's see how that sounds on the fourth. The other thing I like to do is, now we've got that kind of basic groove, so at this point is where I put it into Ableton, export it into Ableton, and then play around with it. Anyone who listens to my music knows that I'm a big fan of filtered house, so it's that jacky disco filter vibe. So one of the things I also like to do on this unit is it does have some effects. One of those is both a high pass and a low pass filter, so I like to know what my samples and things are going to sound like before I get them into Ableton. So if I come out here, I've just put a low pass filter. With this unit you can select multiple tracks and what I want to put it on. So, sorry, effects, track select. Now we don't want to run everything. We can put on some of those. So. Right guys, that's basically how I use 16 or less samples to put together a track. All the sounds that you heard today are available in the Romy Black Jack Pack #1. Probably put together some more quite shortly. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.